Good morning from Arizona.
Today we are going to Sedona. We're going on a mystical tour of Sedona.
Yeah,
Pretty fun.
I'm so excited. It's this company called Sedona Mystical Tours, and they take you around to the vortexes and a lot of special spots with like healing powers and where mystical things have happened, I guess. And I'm super excited.
It's gonna be fun.
So I've been to Sedona so many times, but it's only really been recently that we've started like getting really interested in what all this stuff means, like the vortexes and the metaphysics and the energy and all of that. So I'm super excited to learn more about it. So we just made it into the edge of Sedona, I guess. It's a really cool spot. And we're gonna go meet Mark, our guide for the tour. And I'm already jealous of his house because look at this.
Yeah, like beautiful view.
Yeah. Look at this amazing view. What a cool place to live. Can we move to Sedona?
Maybe we can move wherever we want. We can move van. He has these pyramids over here. You sit under them and it's healing.
Meditation pyramids?
Yeah, you can use them for a lot of different things.
I need to do that.
They're super cool. Crystals everywhere. Seem like good energy. I'm excited to see what he has to teach us.
Yeah, my name is Mark Griffith, and my business is called Sedona Mystical Tours. And the reason for the name is because I realized so many people come here without a clue as to the power, the influence of the Earth's energies here. And to connect with something outside of ourselves can sometimes, in many cases, be an unknown mystical experience. And so the theme, in the sense of what I offer and how I show people how to connect, kind of is in line with the name, meaning we are just a walking circuit of energy. We're only 1% physical material, and facilitating the understanding of that, explaining how non-physical influence can have such a strong impact upon our emotional, our mental, or even physical bodies, is the real reason why I do this. The vortex phenomena is becoming obviously a worldwide destination. It piques the interest of most tourists now. But to explain it and show how it's really a simple process that can be found in many locations around the country and the world is really the, let's say, the distinct single reason why I provide the service that I do.
That's why we found your tour in the first place, because we've been really interested about the vortexes and we were just curious about it for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And there's a common denominator in most of these sacred sites, and that's the geology of the area, or the stones in these ancient monuments, and they all have a composition of quartz crystal. And so in Sedona, because it was formed beneath water, there's very thin layers, but many layers of quartz crystal, iron oxide, copper, and magnetite. And our brains have crystal and magnetite in it, so there is a way in which the vibrations of the earth, the electromagnetic field of the ground here, seems to stimulate the pineal gland. And then, of course, the pineal gland is the master gland of the body, and as that secretes fluids, then we begin to become more sensitive and aware of all these other impactful, or let's say, things that are available to us to access. Only we don't understand that it doesn't take much effort. It just requires the quietness of the mind. And so that's the main and most important part of connecting with the vortexes, is leading people, or they themselves, knowing how to quiet their mind. And as that happens, the cell membranes of the body begin to respond to the environmental vibration. That transfers over to cell replication, that also transfers over to brain wave change, and they could be in a state, what's called a delta wave state of the brain, which is the meditative state, without too much effort.
Interesting. Delta
is,
wave is like your deep sleep.
Deep state,
normally, right?
deep stillness, yeah.
Deep stillness.
You could be walking and be in meditation state.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't require the active meditation, which is very, very important. That because many people, when they try to meditate, they can't. It's because the nervous system is a little bit too hyper.
Right.
So I just try to facilitate the relaxation of all those things, and then they begin to feel the influence going through their body.
How did you come to find Sedona as their place that was for you?
Yeah, I was in California, the Bay Area, and one night I was just driving home on the interstate or the freeway, and a hippie van pulled in front of me, and it had a picture of Bell Rock painted on it, and it said Sedona, Arizona on the bottom. I had never heard of Sedona, and that began my inquiry back in 1989. I asked a few friends that had been here, and none of them had mentioned the beauty. They just said it was an artist colony. There was a lot of crystal shops and kind of a new agey feel to it. The internet wasn't around then, so I didn't know what to expect visibly. I just had been through northern Arizona before, and I said, okay, let me take a trip there, because I had some kind of a voice of intuition that said this is a place you need to explore. And came here in 1990, came back again the following year, and of course was impressed with everything. And at the same time, it was a small town, and you have to be practical and say, how am I going to make a living? And so in 93, prior to that actually, I had been getting dreams about leaving the Bay Area. The earthquake caused the bridge to collapse, and my mentor, Harold, he had said for years that when that bridge collapsed, it's time for us to leave. So when that happened, there was like a message in my mind saying it's not going to be long. The dreams were kind of confirming that, and I at one point wasn't sure when to leave, so I asked the universe to provide a specific signal, sign, that would give me the green light to go ahead and start making plans to move. Arizona was appealing. It was just a matter of choosing which city, which area of Arizona, and this one seemed to be the closest to the temperate climate of the Bay Area, and it looked like they had the greatest potential. My mentor had said back in 90 that this would become a spiritual mecca. So that's 28 years ago. He, had that understanding of a future expectation as well as potential of people. So brought everything here, put it in storage, went to Mount Shasta for 3 months, camped on the mountain, and came back here in the fall. Camped here until we could find a place to live, and moved in right before the weather got cold. Started to scratch and claw to figure out a way of sustaining myself. And with that kind of determination, which many people will tell you, Sedona will challenge you to see if you're worthy of being here, because it's a small town and it can only accommodate so many people. So I obviously passed the litmus test.
I had a dream that said that I should come explore this place too. So that's why we decided to make the video series.
Your grandmother told you to come.
My grandmother who had died last year.
Came.
Yeah.
It's the many people have stories. Just driving through and saying this is where I have to stay. A lot of people that live here realize we're fulfilling a soul contract with allowing the universal circuitry to come through us into the earth to feed both the earth mother and to raise the level of consciousness of humanity. And of course then we're stewards. Then like me, we become service oriented and facilitate the visitors, because otherwise you just have a lot of people wandering around like deer in the headlight, not knowing exactly how and where to go and how to use the land.
Right.
The reference guide here is using micro Tesla units, and you can see by the color range that the whole Red Rock region is at the top of the measurement.
Wow.
And this
That's
is
top of the scale.
This is top of the scale, and it's coming through us no matter what we're doing in Sedona. So when people visit here, they feel a movement out of the limbic brain into the upper neocortex. So they tend to feel a lighter state of thought, emotions, In other cases, the impact of it is going into cellular memory and it's stirring up trauma and repressed emotion. So it can go either way. And when people move here, the first 6 months to 2 years can be extremely challenging because all those repressed feelings and emotions are having an opportunity to be seen. And it can be overwhelming if people don't understand the transformative process, like you probably do. You have something come up, you could reflect or trigger one another, and you probably have enough wherewithal to say it's not her, or it's not the other person, or it's not the event. It's just something my ego needs to heal. But if you don't understand that, then you go into smoking, you go into your drugs, you go into your pharmaceuticals to numb this feeling that's overwhelming. It could be anxiety or depression, two of the big characteristics throughout this country as well as here. You look at Sedona effect, and he's got all kinds of videos, graphs, research papers about how ELFs, how electromagnetics, how the ionosphere, how the sun, how the geosphere affect our brain. When something affects our brain, it affects us. So we went outside of Sedona to a neutral site and did a measurement for a comparison. So this is showing the Schumann frequencies that are coming out of the earth, which weren't very stimulating. The brain wave was very normal. These parameters that he was measuring had no stimulation, but on an anomaly, you could see a huge difference on the same day with the same person being measured. He went into the theta and delta region of the brain. It was almost a total meditation. The frequencies were on the low range, so that corresponds to low brainwave activity. But this is where we, people that come to Sedona, this is where I try to lead them with the few things that I do to promote this state, brainwave state. And once that happens, then their bodies suddenly let go of the pain and discomfort. It's kind of opening and allowing the soul's energy to come into us. And the soul's energy can do all the healing. But, opening up that gateway for individuals is what I feel like try to provide as best I can.
So Mark, is each tour different usually, depending on
the people,
the people, what they're looking for?
What's the intent and purpose of just coming to Sedona?
Right.
Where they're at with their life, their physical condition.
Yeah.
And their immediate needs. Sometimes they're open-ended and I say, okay, I'll just throw whatever I feel like. I like to keep it spontaneous because if you do this for decades, then if it's not spontaneous, then it becomes so routine, it's boring.
Right, exactly.
Like a Jeep tour driver.
Right.
It's like, I don't want to be like that. Let it flow through your arms into your body. Then you change directions. Do the same. You can feel the different directional movement when you change directions.
Try it.
Did you feel it? Yeah.
It's like a flow. Elements of nature. It's not really discovered in this capacity. People just will hike through it like we saw, or mountain bike through it. Not even stop to observe those two twisted trees, which is very, very difficult to find two vortex trees within arm's reach.
Right. Yeah.
And that's such an anomaly. But if it's veiled, then the conscious of the people will notice it.
Right.
Only someone who's really an observer in nature, and a feeler of nature will understand and see these areas as being unique and something to access and tap into.
Right.
natives like to use it before ceremonies as a stronger cleansing agent with the sage. Environment of all the discarnate spirits, sending them back to their source, clearing our ancestral lineage of anything that's ready to be released, attachments to our own auric energetic field.
I was just lying on top of this mushroom rock and Mark was playing these singing bowls on top of my torso and then right by the sides of each ear, and oh my gosh, it was like so soothing and calming and just felt super wonderful and relaxing. And yeah, I'm very into the energy of Sedona. It's very meditative and just what an amazing place.
Yeah, I think one of the highlights was the twisted trees.
Yes, definitely.
And you could hold the two twisted trees, one in each hand, and you could just feel it flowing through you.
Yeah, it was like, I never really thought about those twisted trees, like why they were like that, but it makes so much sense. It's like the force of the energy coming up from the earth, and then just touching them, one in each hand, it was super cool. It was like, yeah, I definitely felt it. And what else? So it's cool because, like I said, we've been to Sedona many times, but we never really cared about the spiritual side of it, to be quite honest, until recently. So it was really good to come and do this tour and learn from an expert who's been here for 25 years and really knows everything there is to know about, like the vortexes and the metaphysical stuff that is going on around here.
Right. It's really interesting. He showed us the map of like the energy that was read by the computer, and you can see just all around Sedona it's just the huge patches of electromagnetic energy, like off the charts readings. And that's because like underneath us here is all a bunch of quartz in different layers, which focuses the energy. And I mean, people have been living here for millennia. Like there's higher concentrations of archaeological sites here than in other places around the area, so there's definitely something to it.
Yeah, it's like it's provable by science that the energy vortexes are real and that they do change people being around this kind of energy. I could feel my brainwaves like slowing down and calming down into a more meditative state as we were hiking and like touching the twisty trees and stuff.
Oh yeah, he showed us the EKG, or the people's brains, where they take them in their like normal brain waves outside of here, then they come inside of here, and you have higher delta and theta waves, which are like the meditative, relaxing brain waves.
Yeah, and another weird thing that happened is that when we went to the first hike we went to, we pulled up off this neighborhood road and we were walking through, and there's like this little cemetery right at the start of the hike, and I immediately, when I was seeing this, just like this gravestones and stuff, I immediately had this really strong feeling that I had been there before. And it's possible maybe I have been there before because I came to Sedona, I think, for the first time when I was 10 years old with my grandparents, and we definitely went on a hike or something. So I could ask my grandparents, but I don't know if they'll remember. I don't know if they would have known this spot, and I don't know if maybe it was just in a past life that I've been there before or something. It was really interesting.
It might just be a mystery.
It's a mystery. I like mysteries.
I can truly say that it is a spiritual destination in Mecca for seekers and for connection with the universe, more than any other point on North America.